city of Philly, where the birds take flight. Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Markus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Blind guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. I like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
There he is. What's going on, good folks? What's going on, Tone?
My God, my brethren, beloved, how you feeling, my man? It's
good. It's a little early today, but it's
beautiful day for football, though. Beautiful day for football, though, right? We early, but
yes,
this is what happens when you got a 1 o'clock game for you, a 12 o'clock game for me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in that central time zone. Markus is holding it down in that eastern time zone, and we still make it work, y'all, because we love y'all.
Yes,
we
sir.
make it work because
dedicated.
We dedicated to y'all. We dedicated to everything that you guys make it for us. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. You guys are looking at the Bald Eagles podcast. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all know the energy. Y'all know where our balders be. He's Markus Thomas. I'm Tone DeShields II. Make sure you guys go lock in on Pro Fan Talk. Pro Fan Talk is one of the fastest growing channels covering the NFL, covering the Eagles right now. Make sure you guys go lock in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. You guys have been phenomenal thus far. This branding thing of the Bald Eagles, it's really starting to take shape, Markus.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We fit the bill. You know, talking about the birds all the time. Season's ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
We at least act like we know what we're talking about and do our homework. And, to me, that's the most important thing, because we still got them guys out there that just, they want to talk, but they don't want to do no research. They don't want to watch no film. But it is what it is. That's the world we live in, and we just moving in it, man. But
yeah,
continue to tune in to us, become part of our family, become part of our squad as we continue to grind and grow.
The thing is, I can't do this content with you and not be held accountable. You get what I'm saying? I can't just show up and mail it in, man. You played this game. You know this game. You've played at the highest level. You played at all levels, really. NFL, college, CFL, World League. You played at every single level. There's not a part of this game that you're not familiar with. So I got to come correct, when I'm talking to you, man. And look, the reality is this. I lean on you in a lot of regards, man. Of course, I'm ultimately a spectator. I'm an enthusiast. I don't like the word fan. I'm a football enthusiast. Right? And all I can do is do the best research that I can in regards to the game. But there's nothing like playing it. So I always lean on you to take me behind the face mask, right? Take me into those film rooms and those sessions about what goes on typically, right? So look, man, you guys are fortunate. You have a guy here who played the game, played for Philadelphia Eagles, played in the CFL, the Canadian Football League, the World League, is the all-time leading rusher at Eastern Kentucky University. Like, you got a guy who's done this and has done it well. So, look, man, I can't wait to get into today's conversation. We got a lot to get into, Markus. This is a big game this week, according to both organizations' social media pages. They're making this game very big, very big.
Yeah, they want a little payback. They're trying to get their lick back after what happened last year, because they had the same sentiment last year that they thought they was going to come in here and throw the ball all over us. And just like everybody else did last year, they underestimated what our defense could do. They underestimated how good Jalen Carter actually was, and how good our secondary was. So our overall defense was not going to be denied, and they found that lesson out the hard way. Now, don't get it twisted. They put up a good fight. Jared Verse stood on business. And I had to give props to him and respect, because he talked the talk and he walked the walk.
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to be a problem. So today I'm looking specifically at Mailata, and I'm looking at Lane Johnson because he's on flip-flop sides. Usually, based on the film that I watch, a lot of times he lines up on the weak side. But you got what's the other guy's name? Is it Byron?
Byron Young, yes.
Yeah, Byron Young on the flip side of that. So you got two guys that we have to worry about on the edges, and based off of last week, how the offensive line played, they got to come correct this week. They got to come correct. We got I don't want to say we got lucky, but we can't make those mistakes this week like we did last week.
Yeah.
LA is a better team than Kansas City is right now.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I would say the difficulty level of each matchup from week 1 up until now has gotten progressively harder.
Yes.
And for different reasons, right? You know, obviously the Cowboys have a better receiver core than the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have a better quarterback, and I think the Chiefs have an overall better defense, right? And then when you go from the Chiefs game to the Rams game, okay, Rams got a much better receiving core right now. The quarterback really good in their own right. You know what I mean? I wouldn't necessarily compare Stafford to Mahomes. I feel like they play the position differently, but they're great in their own right. I think
that's a good way to put it. And I think I wish people would put a period there. They do play the game different. Then take it another step. And for me, the be-all, end-all question is, who is playing the best football right now? It don't matter what they did last year.
That's a good
point.
Don't
matter what we think they made. Who's playing the best right now?
And
right now, Matt Stafford and Justin Herbert are the cream of the crop right now.
He's playing well.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, even to the point where, you know, all of the naysayers about Jalen Hurts, they, you know, already know they got the torches and the they got the torches and the pitchforks ready. But the proof is in the pudding, so you can't defend it. The only thing we can say is, well, we 2-0.
So all you really can say, and the defense is playing well. You can say that too.
Exactly. So I this is a results-based business, and you know, we at sample size 3. This will be the best litmus test we've had so far.
I agree.
And you know, this week and next week, you know, after next week, it's like you got to open the gate. There's no more restraints. It is what it is. So all of the criticism and all of the digs and everything that's going to come, regardless of what happens, you got your true sample size now. So if we still passing at 150 yards a clip, Jalen's going to take the heat, rightfully so. If we're not getting the ball to AJ, or if we running them same plays that are predictable, Patullo's going to get the heat, rightfully so. And then you kind of add on top of that, what happened at the end of the game? Did we win or did we lose? That's either going to, you know, hold everything back or light that powder keg. So this is the next 2 weeks is your final sample size, and then you got what you got, and there are no more excuses because you've had a big enough sample size where everybody's got enough film on everybody else. Everybody knows how to game plan. We already know that the Rams are going to go after Adoree Jackson's location every time. If they don't, they'd be stupid. Davonte Adams and Puka Nacua, somehow, some way, they're going to shift, motion, do everything they can to attack that part of the field. And if they don't, they're stupid. Because we haven't shown that we can defend it yet.
And we know McVay ain't stupid. You know what I'm
McVay
saying?
ain't stupid.
McVay's a very smart dude. He knows what he's doing out there. And look,
absolutely.
I think despite what people may think of the Eagles or Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni, the reality is Sean McVay has not been able to beat Nick Sirianni.
Correct.
Matthew Stafford has not been able to beat Jalen Hurts and that Eagles team. That's just the reality. That's not opinion. That's not me trying to, you know, look, at the end of the day, it's a new season. Anything can happen, right? But trends matter. You know, we rely on trends to tell the story, to tell the tape, so to speak. And for some reason, the Rams haven't been able to get over that hump with the Philadelphia Eagles. They came close in the divisional round. They came close. But the reality is both of these organizations always taking upon themselves to always stay ahead of the curve and when it comes to roster building,
Right.
and coaching as well. So, I mean, I think this is a game where I look at the Eagles offense, right? If you want to start there, I look at the Eagles offense and I say to myself, if there's any game to let the dogs off the leash, it has to be today.
Has to be today.
Because you're going up against an offense that is capable and has the personnel to put up points. They can run the ball fairly well. They block fairly well. They have probably a top 5 wide receiver tandem in the league right now. Matthew Stafford is playing at a very high level. Sean McVay is who he is, right? They're going to do everything to test and challenge you offensively. So you have to be able to match that if the game comes to that, right? If the game turns into one of those games, you got to be able to match that. Now,
Right.
I don't think it will. I don't think the Rams are going to come in here and drop 35 on the Eagles. I don't think that whatsoever. But I do think this is a game where if you're Kevin Patullo, you have 2 games. And if there's anything from Kevin Patullo's play calling over the past 2 games, it's predictability and conservative. Those are the 2 words that define his play calling over the past 2 weeks: predictable and conservative.
Yeah.
And those are things, if you ask me, that you can change. You can change that if you're diligent enough. If you're really working with these guys, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Davonte, Saquon, if you're really working with these guys to get this shit right. And I even love what Jalen Hurts had to say. He took full accountability for the operation. I want to get your thoughts on, the offense, Kevin Patullo, and Jalen Hurts' words at the podium when he took full accountability for how things have looked.
That's what he's supposed to do. He QB1. That's what he gets paid. That's part of his job description. As far as Patullo, we talked about this before. In my opinion, it's looking a little bit too much like the Sirianni offense from 2023, and that's not surprising. But I thought we had evolved a little bit more, and I guess me thinking that maybe they would take a little bit more from what Kellen Moore did last year and then implement it more. Now it seems like that is not happening. However, and this is a big however, when your offensive line ain't playing up to snuff, if we block the way we're supposed to block on a couple of plays last week and we get those big explosion plays down the field, specifically the one with AJ Brown, and there was a couple other ones during the game later on in the game, but if we get that big play right off the bat, the whole conversation is different. But that just goes to show the machinations in the offense and how if one person doesn't do their job on offense, your whole play is wrecked. Defense, you got a little bit longer leash because sometimes everybody behind you or everybody in pursuit can cover the mistake. If like with the Chiefs, if Chris Jones jumps inside, if Tranquil would have recognized that a little bit sooner and got to the outside and made that tackle before he got the first down, whatever happened wouldn't have happened. There wouldn't have been the blow up in the huddle and all of that type of stuff. And that's just a situation where somebody's covered from somebody else. Hugh Douglas talked about that all the time. How back in the day, Trot used to cover him because he used to jump inside and do things he wasn't supposed to do until Trot had to talk to him one day. It was like, listen, if that's what you're going to do, you got to let me know so I can cover you. So you have a little bit more leeway on defense. On offense, if somebody missed the block, our quarterback is getting his head blowed off. And you saw tight ends can't block, pressure comes, Jalen, dips and gets out of there. Then he goes to the left, so the possibility of throwing the ball back to the right is gone. And then we fumbled. So one situation, one failed assignment ruins the whole thing. That's the stuff that we got to clean up on. Now, when you go back and look at the film, if the protection is good, if you got 3 to 5 seconds in the pocket and he's not getting the ball to where it's supposed to be, now all eyes are on Jalen Hurts like, yo, This might be you gotta step up to the game because now this is on you.
You gotta let it rip.
Yeah.
You gotta let it rip. And I think Hurts has but I think he's over time developed this conservative mindset. You know, he understands, and this is the part about knowing how to win football games, right? That's a gift and a curse. And what I mean is he's gotten to a point where he understands the team that doesn't turn the ball over wins the game.
Correct.
And that's a tried and true mindset. We see it every week.
And he's taking it to the nth degree.
And he has taken it to heart. He got it tattooed on his spirit. You know what I'm saying? And I respect it. I appreciate it, right? Turnovers are demoralizing. As a viewer, turnovers are demoralizing. I'm sure when you're playing the game, when you got momentum and you turn that ball over, there were drives throughout that first 4-game stretch where the Eagles were moving the ball, then Jalen Hurts turned the ball over, and it's like, oh my God. It can throw you out of whack. And like, look, you're professionals. You have to respond to that if it happens. Right. You know, so there has to be a give and take. Yeah, Jalen, we want you to protect the football, but hey, you got to understand, you got AJ Brown and Davonte out there. If they 1-on-1, give them a shot.
Give them the ball. Get the ball.
Give them a shot. Put it somewhere only they can get it. You got to give them a shot, man. So, you know, I think this is a game where we see Jalen Hurts unleash a little bit. You know, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and throw for 400 yards, but I think this is a game where, you know, because of what happened the past 2 weeks, and I think Jalen has officially, after that press conference, I think he's officially taken heed to what's going on.
I would agree with that.
Before that press conference the other day, you know, there was a little bit more of a dancing around it from everybody. Hey, you know, we're going to figure out, you know, okay, yeah, this, that, and third. I think he's fully aware, because the word he kept emphasizing in his press conference was expectation, operation, accountability. He understands that, all right, there's time and place to be conservative, but also I'm Jalen Hurts. Like, this is my team. I got to let this shit. I got AJ Brown and Davonte. I got Saquon out there. I got to let this thing go. And also, it goes back to just having an identity, right?
Yeah.
It seems like this offense is kind of having a tug of war with itself about an identity. And I think they don't have to overthink this at all. We have a large enough sample size that, being a run-first team, the Eagles can get the ball to their wide receivers. They can still get their numbers. Absolutely. We have a large enough sample size to prove that. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles need to lean into being that power run, play action, RPO football team. You know, that's how you're built. That's how you're constructed. That's who you are. And, you know, this is one of those games where I think Jalen Hurts takes full opportunity to play his brand of football and just take it to another level. Just open it up a little bit more, taking more chances, trusting guys like AJ Brown and Davonte to do what they do best.
Yeah, I think with what we can do running the ball today specifically, I think Jalen will have a lot more opportunities with AJ and Davonte getting open. Mm-hmm. I know. Is Dallas supposed to play today?
Dallas Goedert, yes. Yeah. I believe he was a full practice participant at the end of the week.
Here's my concern about Dallas.
I'm glad you brought that up real quick, though. Just to get a quick. I'm sorry.
I'm glad he's playing, but I want to know, can he block? That's what I want to know.
I'm glad you said that, because that brings me to the elevation of Cameron Latu. Yeah. That elevation told me everything, especially after that Chiefs game and what happened on that opening play. The elevation of Cameron Latu just told me, that move told me everything about how they felt about the blocking at tight end position. Because Cameron Latu, he's not a dynamic pass catcher or route runner. But he could block, though.
That's all you need.
He gonna throw the pads around.
You got one job. But before we get too far, I wanna bring this up. Because I'm gonna bring this up again. Because I kept hearing this comment, what Quinyon is saying, that everybody want to see it's okay to throw an interception. And I'm like, no, the hell it ain't.
No, it ain't.
No, and this is what frustrates me. Because this specific situation, you cannot have it both ways. You can't. Because if Jalen Hurts was throwing picks, we've seen it before,
Mm-hmm.
this conversation is totally different. We might not win both of those games if we turn the ball over. So no, I'm not buying that. I know what Ruben said, and I understand the context of what he said. What he said it saying like, hey, we need to throw the ball around a little bit more, and things like this are going to happen. Yes, they are. And because of that, when I heard that, this is I want y'all to see this. Hold on.
I'm with you, by the way. It's one of those things where the sentiment is understood, but the statement is flawed.
Can you see this?
No, can you make that a little bigger? All right, there we go. I see.
All right. So I added this up. As of the end of week 2 in the 2025 NFL season, there were 4,228 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions that are 0-2.
Wow.
That are 0-2. So when people get on this narrative, you got to throw the ball more. You got to throw the ball more. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
You either, yes, we got some people out there that can throw the ball a country mile, and they still coming up short. So the question I always ask is, turn off the national media, turn off Good Morning Football, turn off NFL Network, and you as a fan of your squad, what do you want? Do you want your quarterback with top of the charts in the passing yards and all of the stats? Or do you want your team with a winning record? Sometimes you can't have both. I looked at what that game Russell Wilson played was chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
New York should have beat Dallas. And he threw for all of them yards. Russell Wilson had 235 yards in the first half. Russ was cooking, lighting them up, and they still came away with the L.
He had a career game all across the board.
Yes. And you still came away with the game. So I don't want that. The Giants, 618 yards in 2 games, 0-2. You know what I mean? So I don't understand what people want. It's not going to always look pretty, but at the end of the day, the win still matters the most, because that's going to come into play at the end of the year.
Yes.
Where you're seated in the playoffs, all of that type of stuff. That's where that comes into play, and we can't forget it. Stop listening to social media and Adam Schefter and all of them dudes on these shows, because they don't know any more or less than you do. They got people in the background shoving stats in front of their faces. They're not doing homework. Everybody ain't watching film, so don't get caught up into all of that. We 2-0 for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
The passing game is going to get better, and if it isn't, school's out. You got a right to criticize Jalen because he's the quarterback.
Of course. You nailed that. I mean, you nailed that. The chat's definitely giving you the props, man. You nailed that. The reality is the team that turns the ball over more tends to lose the game. You know, the teams who are typically passing a lot for a lot of yards are typically losing the game. Right? Like, that's another thing people got to understand. Like, all them passing yards, I'm pretty sure most of these quarterbacks, if they can help it, wouldn't even want to have to throw that much. Like, that means you're winning the game. That's the part that gets misconstrued about the whole Jalen Hurts statistical categories and yards. And he's usually winning.
Yeah.
So when you're winning, you don't got to pass the ball that much. You know, and the reason in 2023 the passing numbers were where they were because they were either losing a lot, but they happened to win the game. They came back. They were just always trailing into like that final, into that final bell rung. That's why 2023 his passing numbers are probably more prolific, for lack of other terms, than in any other season. So I just think if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, right, you got to find a way to get your game breakers the ball. You got to find a way to be multidimensional. You got to find a way to be creative. You got to find a way to get everybody comfortable in this offense. Everyone seems like they're just not fully comfortable with what's going on right now. And sometimes all it takes is one game.
Yeah.
All it takes is one game for y'all to say, oh, okay. All right. We got it. Now, the Eagles, in particular, A.J. Brown is going to have a favorable matchup. Emmanuel Forbes, who he's been abusing for quite a couple seasons. The injury report is thus. For the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously Will Shipley is out with the oblique. Tanner McKee is questionable with the right thumb. We all know Nakobe Dean won't be able to come back until after week 4. And then we get to the Rams. Steve Avila, their offensive lineman, is doubtful with the ankle. Their defensive tackle, Braden Fisk, who's really good, he's questionable with an oblique.
They got a starting quarterback out, right?
Yes. They have a tight end in Kobe Parkinson, who's questionable with a shoulder, and their starting cornerback in Ahkello Witherspoon, he's on injured reserve. I think he's their best corner. So,
well, no, didn't somebody get hurt last week? Didn't one of their starters get hurt last week in the secondary?
Ahkello Witherspoon. He he broke his collarbone. I think he broke or fractured his collarbone or something like that.
Gotcha. You say injured reserve, and I thought like he was already on that list.
Oh no, well they put him on there. That's how they didn't waste any time. They put him on there immediately. And also their off-ball linebacker, Keir Thomas. Keir Thomas is out as well. So they got a couple issues on defense that you should be able to take advantage of. We don't know if Braden Fisk is going to play. He may play. You know what I mean? He may thug it out. You know, I think he plays. If I'm being honest. But nonetheless, not having your best corner out there, I think that's a big deal. And if you're Jalen Hurts in the Philadelphia Eagles, you got to take advantage of that. The same way how they're going to try to abuse Adoree Jackson, you got to find a way to abuse their weakness on defense as well. But also, here's another thing that we got to keep in mind as well. The 2,000-yard question. Did the Rams fix their run defense? Now, the last time the Eagles played them, let's just call it what it is. This isn't opinion. This isn't conjecture. This isn't me trolling. This is the sad reality of what happened between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams in both matchups. Right. When the Eagles played the Rams in LA, the Eagles beat the Rams 37-20. And the Rams allowed a grand total of 314 rushing yards. 314 rushing yards, 255 came by way of Saquon Barkley doing what he does.
Yeah, we ran across the state on that one.
And A.J. Brown had a 100-yard game. See how easy it is for a guy to still get his numbers and you can still run for all those yards?
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, Saquon had a couple of explosives. I think he had like 2 60-yard rushes in that game. Nonetheless, though, 314 rushing yards the first time they met. 314 rushing yards. The second time they met in the divisional round, Eagles beat them 20-22. It was a little more of a close game. Right? Eagles should have ran away with that a little bit more, but you know, the weather and so on and so forth. Nonetheless, in that game, the Rams allowed, once again, an exuberant amount of rushing yards. They allowed 285 rushing yards by the Philadelphia Eagles, and 205 of them came by way of Saquon Barkley, who also had a couple explosives in that game. The reality is, both times these two teams have met, the Rams have struggled to block the Eagles in the run game. That's a fact. They've struggled to stop that running game. It's 2 separate occasions, 2 separate venues, 2 separate weather conditions. And one would argue they were better at that point in the season defensively.
Correct.
Yet they still couldn't do it. And as far as I'm concerned, that defensive line is still pretty much intact. Braden Fisk is still there. Jared Verse, Byron Young. Those are still the same guys. You're weaker at off-ball linebacker after losing Keir Thomas. You're weaker at corner after losing Ahkello Witherspoon. You're weaker defensively, technically, from a personnel standpoint because of injuries, not because of skill. So I need to know if the Rams, I don't care what they did against those guys the week or two prior, because as of right now, their defense is allowing, let me see here, their rushing defense, they're allowing 4.2 yards per carry, and they are allowing 111.5 rushing yards per game. That's 17th in the league. Now, granted, we only got a 2-game sample size. Those numbers are going to fluctuate a lot over the next several weeks. We won't really get the real foundation of the rankings until maybe week 8, week 9.
Right.
But so far, if I'm looking at what the Rams have done the past 2 games, and again, this isn't my opinion. This is not conjecture. This is just what's happened, right? The Texans rushed for 114 yards on them, averaged over 4 yards a carry. And when I look at their next matchup against the Titans, yes, they beat them 33-19. They beat them 33-19, but when I look at the team stats and I look at what they gave up on the ground, they gave up 109 rushing yards. So back-to-back games giving up over 100 rushing yards, right? Those guys, those offensive lines aren't Saquon Barkley, aren't Lane Johnson, aren't Jordan Mailata, aren't Tyler Steen, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson. Different breed, different animals we're talking about now. Those quarterbacks didn't have a guy in Jalen Hurts who can hurt you with his legs as well as consistently. That's not to say Cam Ward can't move. That's not to say CJ Stroud can't move. But they want to sit back there in the pocket. Jalen Hurts is not afraid to break it back with his legs.
Right.
So I think the Rams defense is going to be challenged as well. They have some questions to answer as well.
I think the nature of that defense opens them up to the run game because they play that variation of the 3-3-5 or have you like 3-3-5, 4-2-5. It's they got 3 down linemen and then they got Verse and Byron on the outsides in wide 9 techniques. So they are really stretched out. But those 3 interior linemen, because Jared Verse usually plays on the weak side, right? So they're rushing. Every now and then they'll drop back or somebody will bail because they're trying to confuse. But when you're only going with 3 and you got all of those linebackers and all of those DBs, that leaves you suspect to a good run game. Because if for any reason we get to the second level, we're going to win those battles because now you got big on small. Now you got a offensive lineman against a linebacker, or better yet, against a DB. We're most likely going to win those battles. We just going to win the battle of physics on that situation like that. So that's what the flip side of that is you got guys like Verse and you got the linebackers. If they can penetrate and fill the way they want to, they can do some damage. But if our offensive line is winning in the trenches and we can get to that second level, we're going to gut them again. So how are they going to play that? Are they still going to bring that other safety up to fortify and ended up 7 and 8 men in the box? Because that's similarly what the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl. They brought that extra guy up. So it was 8 men in the box, but if you got a DB or a safety good enough, fast enough, they can bail out the last minute, and now you got complete coverage in the secondary. So you're gambling either way, and we'll see today if they still go with that. Kevin Patullo has got to establish the run game today. If the run game gets going, if Saquon does what we know he can do, Jalen Hurts will be fine.
The last thing you need is for Jared Verse and those guys to pin their ears back and just know that they can rush the quarterback at will.
Absolutely.
That's like I want those guys thinking out there. I want those guys having to run sideline to sideline. Like I just think you cannot come to this game with a foolhardy mentality, a foolhardy game plan. If you're Kevin Patullo, no. You can't be cocky at the podium. You can't be. You gotta take accountability and say, dog, okay, I really haven't cracked the can on this thing. Like I gotta open this thing up, man. I gotta get that running game going. Saquon, he hasn't had a 100-yard game yet. Granted, we're only 2 weeks in, but I thought he would have that game against the Cowboys. It didn't happen. I thought he could have. Well, it's funny. He had a better game against the Chiefs than he did the Cowboys, which is strange, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, back-to-back games with a rushing touchdown, right? And those rushing, if you notice, those rushing touchdowns are identical.
Yeah,
the Cowboys rushing touchdown and the Chiefs one, they look. If you line
those the same play,
if you line those up next to each other, they look identical. So, I think the Eagles need to get that running game going. You need to use your offensive guard. You need to use your athletic offensive lineman to get them moving, pull guys, get creative, and overall these guys got to execute. These offensive linemen got to execute at the end of the day, right? You can't, like, at this point you got too many guys that have been playing this game for too long. You got too many Pro Bowls and All Pros for them to be playing the way they've been playing it for the first couple weeks.
We got to get outside the tackles.
I agree with you 100%.
If there was a defense where you can get outside the tackles, this is the defense. Because with the edges playing that wide technique, they're coming up to contain. But if you get inside of them and get back outside, you can do damage. No, you're not going to break a play, a splash play every time you do that. However, if the linebackers are coming up and tackling you at 3 yards, that's a win for a running back. 3 yards is the minimum what you should get. Anything above 4 yards is gravy. If you're getting 4 yards or more as a running back, that means we can give you the ball 3 times in a row, and that's the first down. That's the gold standard for any running back. And then you got somebody like Saquon that can turn 4 into 40 with one step.
Yeah, I also think Dylan has to be a guy to be used in this game. Like whatever I've seen Dylan come on the field, he's added a much needed change of pace. The defense didn't approach him the same way, and he's been able to run with power and just give that defense something different to prepare for in terms of just dealing with you game plan so much for Saquon Barkley, right? It's easy for you to forget about AJ Dillon. And when AJ Dillon just gets north-south and he's running you over, you got to be prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, but we got a diamond in the rough, man. I don't know how they're gonna use him.
Oh, you're talking about Bigsby,
man, bro.
I want to see it. I want to see him. I want to see him with the ball too. When they first traded for him, they just put him on return, and
it was special teams. I get it,
but I think you got to find a way to give him the ball this week.
You got to, man. You got to.
That running game has to get going.
Thank you for the memberships, Lynn.
Yeah, that running game has to. I think the Eagles got to rush for over 150 yards today. They got to.
I would love to see that. They don't, in my opinion, they don't have to do that, but we do have to be dominant on the line of scrimmage. So that can manifest itself in different ways. As long as we are on the positive and as long as we are moving the ball, as long as we're driving them back and they're not driving us back on that offensive line. So we got to be dominant on that offensive line because, and again, this is Patullo. I didn't get a chance to go back. I know I talked about it last week, but I'm still going to do it in that Kansas City game. I want to see how many times that they ran the ball out of where Jalen was under center. All of those runs, if I'm not mistaken,
they're so much better.
Runs.
There's so much more successful runs.
You can do off of that. The play action you can do off of that is unreal. But you got to be careful because if the guys on the edges don't block the ends, don't block those edges, that play action, and we don't block Jalen's blind side, that could be bad, very bad. So I'm hoping that Patullo will pull some new feathers out of the cap and do some things different because now this is the defense where you can do it too. And let's not forget, we assuming that the Rams are going to do the same thing they've been doing.
Of course.
And that's not necessarily true because they watching film too. They can say, well, last time we got gutted like this, so maybe we might need to change up some things a little bit. So,
you know what?
That's why they make adjustments in game.
You may be on to something. Like, don't be surprised if they completely sell out to stop the run and force that Eagles pass game to come alive.
Make Jalen beat us.
At this point, that's the game plan. If you're
the game plan.
That's the game plan. Their passing game clearly is still stagnant until proven otherwise. I'm selling out to stop that run. They got to prove to me that they fixed their problems.
Correct.
If I'm the Rams, that's what I'm doing.
Correct.
That's what I'm doing. So, yeah, it makes total sense to me. Let's transition. Let's flip the ball a little bit, right? We talked a lot about the Eagles offense versus this Rams defense. Let's flip it. Rams offense versus this Eagles defense. This Eagles defense is playing at a high level right now. They've had to go up against two pretty high level quarterbacks in Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes, and they didn't make life easy for those guys whatsoever. You can nitpick however those games went as far as drops or missed opportunities for those quarterbacks, but they still got to make the play, and they didn't make them consistently. So, when you think about this Eagles defense and the fact that in back-to-back weeks they've held teams to 20 points or less, Chiefs only were able to muster 17. That last ditch touchdown, it made the game more interesting, but I don't think that I don't think they were going to win that game after we made it 20-10. And then obviously the Cowboys, they were only down by 4 points. When you think about this Eagles defense, how well they've been playing, especially in the pass game and in run defense on top of that, how do you think this translates this week?
If we get pressure on Stafford's been throwing the ball well. Stafford's known to get rid of the ball quick. That's why he's so good. He can stand in the pocket. He's tall enough where he can see over the line and deliver the ball on target and on time. Clearly, his back issues haven't really affected him, but he hasn't had to run much. But these are the same notes that we talked about last year in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a very mobile quarterback, and I think he ran for a couple of first downs in that game, if I remember correctly. He's mobile enough to get out and do what he has to do. Now, I don't know what the situation is going to look like with his back. We've been talking about his back, and they 2-0, and he's been throwing the ball all over the yard. So his back hasn't worried him. However, all things being equal, he's still not a very mobile quarterback, and he still wants to stand in the pocket and get rid of the ball. That's where Jalen Carter came in. That's why he had such a good game last year. And they haven't seen Zadarius Smith. So we still have the advantage on the defensive line. Where is the Rams going to focus? Are they going to focus on stopping Jalen Carter? Because he still demands a double team. Now you got Zadarius Smith and you got Nolan Smith coming off the edges. They are problems. And then you got Zach Bond and Jihaad Campbell. They haven't seen Jihaad yet. They don't understand how fast he is. So that's an advantage because we basically got a DB with the size of a linebacker at linebacker. He's that good. So, in my opinion, our weak point is still Adoree Jackson. So here's where I have the cautious enthusiasm, because I said this on one of my streams during the week. I got to remember that I still have supreme faith in Vic Fangio. And if Vic Fangio was telling me Adoree Jackson is going to start again, I got to understand that that's the best option in this situation, period. If it was Keely Ringo, he would be in there. If it was Ja'Cory Bennett, he would be in there. I'm going to trust that Vic Fangio is watching more film than I am. And there's a reason, because he's seen the bad too. So he knows what's coming, and he's still sticking with Adoree Jackson. Okay. Because it's going to be one of them things. It's good until it ain't. And then we got to adjust. But if Ja'Cory Bennett should have been in there, he would have been in there. If Keely Ringo, because I said this the first week, I could have watched Keely Ringo do what Adoree Jackson did with the same results. I'd rather take the younger kid in there.
And let him learn on the job, right?
Yeah. At some point in time, Keely Ringo's size and speed is going to come into play. You know what I mean? So, I'm not calling those shots. But I have to fall back and remember, Vic Fangio knows better than we do. And if he says Adoree Jackson is the man, okay.
Because he's made it very clear he won't put you on that field just because he likes you.
Correct.
So whoever's on that field, he either trusts them unequivocally or he does not have a better option.
He doesn't have a better option.
And when it comes to CB2, for Adoree Jackson to be out there 2 games in a row. Now, look, again, we've seen things switch up over a 4-game span. We know, remember when Davonte Maddox went out and Cooper DeJean came in week 6 or whatever it may be. Things can change, right?
Yeah.
But as of right now, based off his actions these first 2 weeks, and Adoree is going to get to start today as well.
Yeah.
Based off of these 3 weeks. In the decision, we do not have a better option there.
At this point, it is what it is.
At this point, it is what it is. Again, is he setting up the Ja'Cory Bennett switcheroo? Right? Is he setting up? Is Mac McWilliams going to come out of nowhere and to be a guy? Right?
That's who I wanted to see.
I want to see.
I thought Mac McWilliams had a good camp, but that's camp.
And he's a young guy, very young guy, and he's slight. So going up against these big guys like a Puka Nacua or Davonte Adams would be very interesting to see.
Bro, you already know they're going to be targeting Davonte Adams all damn day. That's
they targeting whoever's on the door. Whoever got the matchup, they targeting it.
Yep.
And Matthew Stafford's been playing this game for a long time. He's a very intelligent quarterback. Very his football prowess is up there. But you said something, right? You know, he's at his best when he's able to sit back there and deliver the pill with comfort. He's at his best. He's not mobile, and that's when he's at his worst. When you actually able to lay hands and feet on him early, you start that clock speeds up, and he is a different quarterback. You know, I was listening to Mike Mayock talk about it, and he didn't.
I heard that interview.
He didn't. We can tap into that too. He didn't get into too much detail about this, but he specifically said, we all know Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, that offense, they're high profile, and I'm paraphrasing. But he said, but we also know Matthew Stafford, if you lay a couple licks on him early, he'll be a little bit gun shy. He'll be gun shy. You'll expose some things. And that's been the MO for Matthew Stafford's entire career. Late in his second half of his career. You know, early his career, he was super tough. He did not fear nothing. But
we know what he is.
We know what he is.
We know what he is. We know how he can burn you. We know why he will burn you. And we just, as a defense, you know what you need to do. Last year in the playoffs, we saw it. You got to get hands on them, frustrate them. Don't give them the time to get to those second and third options. You got to get rid of the ball now to your number one. And your number one might not always be open. So, and to me, that is where the chess match is going to come in. If Davonte Adams, who's going to be the number one? Is it Davonte Adams or Puka Nacua?
I think their number one is Puka still.
I agree. So be very conscious of the type of shifts and the type of motions the Rams do today. Because first thing we need to be watching in this game is, where is Adoree Jackson on the field? And are they motioning to him pre-snap? That'll tell you all you need to know. So where they lining up, if they line up trips on one side and then they bring somebody over to Adoree Jackson's side, you know where they're going.
Find number 8.
What they looking to first.
Find number 8. It's crazy. When I watch that defense, I am locating number 8. I swear, it's crazy. Like it's I hate that it got to be him. But whenever that defense is on the field, I am so searching for number 8.
Yeah.
And when I find them, that's the only part of the field I'm watching. You know what I mean? I think also in this game, I think that pass rush is going to take another step forward. I think that pass rush got at them Mahomes early.
Yeah.
And in that matchup last week, they got after him early, and you saw the immediate impact of a guy like Zadarius Smith.
Yeah.
He's so violent. And we also saw some unique blitzes from Fangio that we don't really see. You know, bringing up safety with Andrew Makuba and Zadarius Smith got in on that sack. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we saw some different things. And this goes back to trusting Vic Fangio. We know he's going to do what's necessary to win that game.
What's necessary to win? He's going to do what's necessary to win. Thank you for your super chat, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you for the appreciate
before the game. Yeah, Tone hit me up last night. He was like, "Yeah, maybe we need to go at 10 because it's a 1:00 game." And I was like, "Yeah, I agree." So don't be nervous about Patullo. We'll get it done. Same thing with Vic Fangio. There's a reason why this guy got promoted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how he proves that might be different from person to person, but there's a reason why he got elevated. So it was like, hey man, proof is in the pudding. So we'll be all right. We'll be all right. And are we hoping Adoree Jackson is Ronald Darby?
That's hilarious. And again, Steve Avila, their left guard, starting left guard, that day he's out. Starting left guard.
Thank you for the super chat, Green.
That's an important loss if you ask me.
Yes.
Your starting left guard is out. That means Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Zadarius Smith he can line up inside, outside. You even saw Jalen Carter lined up on the outside, I think, a couple times. I think that's his game.
You know what? That's something that we don't say enough, or we don't think about enough. If you have an injury on your offensive line and you're bringing a second stringer and they got to face down Jalen Carter, that's their first test.
Mm-hmm.
Is the best young defensive tackle in the game. That's a mental That's a mental juggle right there.
And we all know offensive line is all about cohesiveness, communication.
Yeah.
Knowing the guy next to you. This kid that's going to come in for him, I think, is Justin Dedich, or it's either going to be Justin Dedich or maybe some kid, maybe Warren McClellan. Yeah, it's probably going to be Justin Dedich or Bo Limmer. Those are their two interior guys as far as depth goes. But I think if you're Fangio, I'm going to overload. I want to test that guy. I'm going to I may send a blitz through the A gap with Jihaad Campbell. I may get creative and move Zadarius Smith and Jalen Carter around. I just think overall, this pass rush, this front seven top to bottom, with as far as talent and youth, they're one of the best in the league.
Yeah,
they're one of the best in the league, and I just think they're going to pose so many problems. You're right; they haven't seen what Jihaad Campbell could do in this defense. He's a newcomer. They haven't seen what Zadarius Smith can do with this defense, right? It's going to be really fun to see. When you think about Jihaad Campbell and Zach Bond in this game, right? The Rams, they have Tyler Higbee at tight end, very talented guy. And we know they like to use Puka in the slot at times or just anywhere, really. How much more difficult can Zach Bond and Jihaad Campbell make it for Matthew Stafford in terms of, in the pass coverage?
They offer a unique situation where we can hide coverages better. Because usually when you hide in coverages, you bring everybody up to the line and to confuse the offensive line. Who do you have?
Mm-hmm.
I got this guy. I got that guy. If you can create one step of confusion, so if you step left and there's nobody there, you give that guy the gap on your opposite side for a half a second, that might be the break to put pressure on the quarterback to disrupt the play. So the defense is always trying to do that. And you'll notice when defenses bring everybody up to the line of scrimmage, rarely does everybody come. Rarely do they do a zero blitz like that where you got nobody deep. If they're doing that and it's all for nothing, that's a defensive Hail Mary that they can get to the quarterback before the quarterback gets the ball off the out of his hands. So that's where you do that. Where Zach Bond and Jihaad Campbell come into play is they are fast enough that when they bail, they can get back to their zone and put a body in those zones before the receivers get open.
Right.
So now it looks like you got everybody on the line of scrimmage and somebody's going to be open. And then by the time the quarterback reaches his third or his fifth step, now you got bodies in the zones. Hopefully the quarterback will make a mistake. That's the purpose of that. The pre-snap look is one thing. When he drops back, they're hoping that he will go to a spot and release the ball, and it'll be somebody in there. So it's all about having people fast enough to get back in those zones and do what they need to do.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think also I'm looking at young guys like Quinyon, Cooper DeJean. They're another year into the league. And I guess I want to get your thoughts on how Quinyon and Cooper have been playing the past couple of weeks.
They've been playing solid. Cooper's going to do what he's going to do. I think they've kind of hit the altitude. They're not so much trending upward anymore, and I think everybody's used to them. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, okay, I know they're young players, but both of those guys are good, so we have to adjust accordingly. It's been, the other guys get paid too. So there are going to be some guys that everybody wants them to go out there and just no passes. Nobody's getting nothing on Cooper and Quinyon. And listen, that's not the case. The guys on offense, the receivers are way too good for that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, they are limiting catches. They are limiting production, and they're keeping guys out of the end zone for the most part. So Quinyon, is it fair to say that he drops a lot of picks? he should already have an interception this year. I need that young fella when he gets his hands on the ball to keep his hands on the ball and come down with it. So,
am I tripping? Has the Eagles defense only given up one passing touchdown? Because the Cowboys, they rushed 2 touchdowns in with Javonte Williams, and Patrick Mahomes, He ran in for a touchdown and he threw one. I think they've only given up one passing touchdown these past 2 weeks.
I think you are correct.
They give up 3 rushing. One was a quarterback scramble.
Didn't
and 2 was on the goal line. Like they weren't like
the Cowboys didn't have one in the air?
No, because think about the score. It was they scored touchdowns on their first 2 drives with Javonte Williams. That made it 14. Then they kicked the field goal. Then they kicked another field goal. We beat them 20-24. That's 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals.
Yeah, you're right.
And then the Chiefs, we beat them 20-17?
Yeah.
So that's 2 touchdowns and 1 field goal. We know Mahomes ran one in, and we know he had that deep ball to Taquan Thornton.
Right.
This defense only given up 1 passing touchdown over the past 2 weeks.
1 passing touchdown, yeah.
Some pretty good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know?
Keep it up. Like I said, I got supreme confidence in Vic Fangio. Whatever he say, go. Because the proof is in the pudding. To your point, if we've only given up 1 touchdown in the air, are we going to be able to keep that streak with this guy? But let's also not forget. Let's go back 2 years ago when Brian Johnson shut him out in the second half in LA.
Sean Desai, yeah.
Sean Desai, yes. Sean Desai. So we've had good success against the Rams, against McVay, when they had their best on the field, and we still managed to shut them down. So our defensive line is better now than it was back then.
And when we played them the first time last season, we shut down their run game. Granted, they got down early.
Yeah,
but we held their rush. We held a guy like Kyron Williams to like only 70 rushing yards. He wasn't really a factor in that game, especially after fumbling on opening drive for them.
Yeah.
So, this Eagles defense has had its fair share of success against this Rams offense in various respects. Another thing we got to keep in mind here, the Rams made it tough in the divisional round last season and so on and so forth. But let's just look at forget the yards. Let's think about the points here. The Eagles gave up 22 points in the divisional round. Any competent offense can beat that easily.
Right.
And then the first time they played them in the regular season, they only gave them 20 points. The Rams haven't been able to just explode offensively from a scoring perspective against the Eagles. They haven't. Right. I think people get so wrapped up in the passing yards and how it looks in the aesthetics and all that kind of stuff, and they forget. Hold on, wait. How many points are they putting up against this team, really?
Right.
Like, the Rams haven't just been dominating the Eagles or haven't just been abusing the Eagles, and no, that hasn't been the case at all. Like, they have failed to put up more than 22 points in the past 2 meetings. I could take it a step further, right? Go back to 2023. In 2023, when we played the Rams, we beat them. Only allowed 14 points.
Yeah.
Beat them 23-14. And we didn't play them in 2022. So, and then in 2021, when we played them and we beat them, let me see here. No, we didn't play them in 2021 either. So, yeah, the bottom line is, though, they haven't had this crazy scoring output against the Eagles. The Eagles have been doing pretty well against preventing them from, from taking over from a scoring perspective.
And I'm like, I cautiously avoid going too far back in history, because to me, the only thing that matters is when Vic Fangio's here now.
That's a very good point. So we can start there then with the Vic Fangio last year. We can start there. Keep it there.
And Green Wing Man, we're gonna come back to this point, but I want to, because John's point makes more sense in this conversation right now, because Fangio has been blitzing, doing things that he did not do last year. He's been changing it up a little bit, so the looks are going to be different, the pressure is going to be different, and we got different players. Yes, Jalen Carter is still the stalwart in the middle, but like I mentioned earlier, Darius Smith is on the corner. They haven't seen him before, not with us, anyways. So, and Zadarius Smith immediately is paying dividends. Immediately. And oh, by the way, Nolan Smith is on the other side. And Jordan Davis is playing lights out right now. And
Josh Uche is one of the highest rated pass rushers in the league. I mean, he doesn't have any sacks to cement that, But
Boy,
as far as winning his matchups and forcing the quarterback off his spots, he's been that guy for the
you
past 2 games.
don't have to make the play to make the play.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
He could force them into a Jordan Davis sack or a Jalen Carter sack. Like forcing the quarterback off his spot, making him move much more than he wants to move is the goal here. And whatever you get after that is a plus.
Correct. And Vic Fangio, to John's point here, again, thank you for the super chat, John. Moving things around, moving pieces on the chessboard, and bringing blitzes that nobody's seen before. Because what did they say against the Chiefs? I'm not used to Vic Fangio blitzing it. He blitzed this much, and you got to give it a different look.
They spoke about it in that on the broadcast. They were like, "Hey, he's sending some safety blitzes in that Super Bowl. Him blitz what? But guess what? That's because he didn't have to.
Right?
He didn't have to. The pass rush was doing what they needed. He didn't have to.
Right.
So
hopefully, in my opinion, I think the reason why they're blitzing as much as they are is so they don't have time to get the ball to wherever Adoree Jackson is.
I can see that 100%.
You got to be able to cover that up.
I can see that 100%. We're going to
46% blitz rate.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I totally get it. You got to do whatever you can to try to mask those flaws. But it's going to be a give and take. It's going to be a balance. You have to time. Well-timed blitzes are significantly more valuable than just blitzing just the blitz. It's all about just having that well-timed blitz. And it worked against the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll see how this matchup. We'll see how this matchup goes. We're about an hour deep into the show. Let's get into our bold predictions. Let's get into our score predictions as well. So let's start with the bold. Do you have a bold prediction for the offense and a bold prediction for the Eagles defense?
For the offense, I don't know if it's a bold prediction. I kind of wanted to go back to what my man Green Wingman was talking about Latu. I just want to see Latu involved in the offense. For as far as I want him to make that change, because to me that as a fan, to me that's obvious and it should happen. So I'm not necessarily looking for a particular performance, as they put they put a patch on this leak in the dam because we know it's a problem. I want to see them address that. It ain't got to be secretly. It's obvious. We know what Latu can do. Now we might be totally wrong. We might just say, hey, he just got a good block. And if it's exposed like that, now we know. But it can't be worse than what we saw last week with guys who played a position every week. That was unacceptable because it cost us points. So for me, I want to see the visible changes. It ain't got to be a secret. I want to see the changes that lets like, okay, they know they saw the problem and they addressed it, period. Right. Don't make it complicated.
I agree with that. If I had to give you a bold prediction offensively, although I said earlier that I expect them to sell out and force the Eagles to beat them in the air,
right?
I just think that this Eagles. Here's the thing: the Rams played them twice last year. They ran for over God knows how many yards on you the first time, and I'm sure in that divisional round, they knew coming into that game we got to stop the run.
Yes, and they couldn't,
and they still couldn't.
Yeah,
because in between the first matchup and the second matchup, they saw what the Eagles were doing.
Yeah.
All them rushing yards, the league knew what the Eagles were doing. The league knew that rushing game was prolific. And they allowed Jalen Hurts to run for a 40-yard touchdown. They allowed Saquon Barkley to run for like a 30-yard touchdown. They allowed Saquon Barkley to rush for like a 40, 50-yard touchdown again in that game. They knew what they had to do and still couldn't do it. And their personnel defensively is relatively still the same.
Still the same.
One can argue they're weaker.
As a ball carrier, if y'all can't stop me in the snow, you ain't gonna stop me on a good track.
Right. And one may argue that not having Ahkello Witherspoon out there, because he tackles pretty well, not having him out there, that hurts you defensively. So
absolutely.
My bold prediction, I think the Eagles rush I think the Eagles had their strongest rushing performance of the season. I think the Eagles rush for over 175 yards in this team.
Nice.
Seriously.
Let me counter that.
I think they rushed for over 175 yards.
Let me counter that. AJ Brown has 2 touchdowns.
There we go. I knew you had a bold prediction in you somewhere. We just had to find it.
AJ Brown has 2 touchdowns because if they gotta do one or the other, and I think they would be more committed to stopping the run than the pass because they haven't seen the pass, and because of that,
I agree with that.
AJ Brown gets in the end zone twice.
I agree with that, but the passing game with the Eagles was being questioned last year.
It was,
and they knew what they had to do then. You know what I'm saying? I think that's my angle. It's like regardless of how you view each one, you got to pick one, and they picked. I'm assuming they picked Saquon Barkley in that divisional round. And they still couldn't stop him. In the snow. Now, the snow hurts both sides of the ball, obviously.
Correct.
But you couldn't stop me on a beautiful fall night, beautiful winter night in LA. You couldn't stop me then. So I'm rolling with the Eagles rushing for over 175 rushing yards in this game. That's my bold prediction offensively. You got AJ Brown getting 2 touchdowns. That's your bold prediction. I like that offensively. Now let's get to the defensive side for the Eagles, right? What's your bold prediction defensively?
Oh,
man. What you got in your mind, man?
Adoree Jackson gets a pick.
Get the fuck out of here. I done made what I do last week. Didn't I make a pick 6 bold prediction for Adoree against Mahomes? I think it was Mahomes, or was it? I can't remember.
I think you did. But that's my bold prediction because I look at it like
it's bold as hell.
They're sticking with him.
They are sticking with him.
They're sticking with him. And let me say it like this: at this level, eventually he's gonna make a play.
Yeah, that's very true. He's getting closer too, by the way.
He had a couple pass breakups. I think he had 2 pass breakups against Kansas City.
Pass breakup against the Cowboys that almost resulted in a Byron Young interception.
Yeah,
he just dropped it.
Right. So he is getting in there. So I will say this. Again, I have supreme trust in Vic Fangio, and if Vic Fangio says he's the best option, then he's the best option. Point, period, end of paragraph. Now, what I saw the pass breakups. Now I need him to get his hands on the ball. Because I still go back to this. You do not get this opportunity. You do not find yourself in this position on this team if you cannot play. I have to believe that. I have to believe that Vic Fangio didn't all of a sudden lose his marbles. So there must be something in Adoree Jackson that he sees. And again, I'll just reiterate myself. You don't get to this point if you can't play. Now, it might not look great in your behalf, but all I need you to do is make a play. Make a play, because we all know you could have the worst game ever, but if you make the play to win the game, all of that's forgiven. All that's forgiven. You flip that. Look at what happened with, and this goes back to that's the non-player in you comment by Ryan Clark. Look at what happened with King Henry. 160 something yards against Buffalo. He fumbled and lost the game. He doesn't care about his stats. Now you flip that whole scenario. You getting burned all game. They catch it. All it takes is to get his hands on one ball, and it changes that whole narrative.
Yeah,
so,
it kind of challenges the whole notion of can you win a game? Can a game be won or lost on one play?
Absolutely.
And it can, but I think when you take the conversation a step further, you say to yourself, okay, we'll let up to that. We'll put them in position to even be in at that point. So
right,
I don't think it's 1-to-1. I think it's like an adult football conversation is understanding that one play cost them this game.
Right.
But they didn't just lose this game within this one play. So much happened that put them in position.
Yeah, but that's what the coaches tell you. because they got to say that to keep the team together. But what you do is, and in my opinion, what you do is you break down your opportunities. You are playing for an opportunity to make a play. Okay. And when the play comes your way,
you got to make it.
You got to make it. CeeDee Lamb, when the play comes your way, you got to make it. Yeah. Travis Kelce, Jalen Carter. I said last week, Travis Kelce drops that ball on the goal line, and then Drew Nacua gets the pick, right? Who made that play? Jalen Carter made that play. Jalen Carter's pressure on Patrick Mahomes made him throw that ball a 0.22 seconds too soon. Mm-hmm. And Travis Kelce didn't get his eyes around and couldn't find the ball. That's why he bobbled it. That's why we got the pick. So while Nacua gets all of the credit, Jalen Carter made the play. So guess what? We ain't said much about Spitgate since then, have we? You know what I'm saying? So you play for opportunities. And then when you get the opportunity, can you take advantage of it? Go all the way back last year when we were in Brazil, right? Nakobe Dean, good game. Then he gets that pick in the end zone towards the end of the game.
Oh, that's Jacksonville. Yeah.
So that was, you get situations like that, and can that person take advantage of that opportunities? That's what we're trying to figure out. Granson got over there. Grant Calcaterra, they couldn't make the block. Then we see what Latu did. You know what I mean? So now, to Alex's point, we got Epps coming back. What is Epps going to do? You know, is he going to have an opportunity? If Quinyon Mitchell gets his hands on the ball, catch the freaking ball.
Catch the ball, bro.
Catch the ball.
It's grinding my gears, man. Catch the freaking ball.
Catch the ball. So you are right. It is not one play here or there that can win or lose a game.
But you play for the opportunity to make those plays, though. That's the point. The whole point is to play and take advantage of your opponent's mistakes, take advantage of opportunities they give you. And when you make those separate great from good.
Exactly. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games.
Simple as that.
From kickers on down.
Like Andrew Nacua. That was a big-time play. And if he can begin to stack those, he becomes somebody you have to pay attention to and game plan for. He's a guy that when he's near the ball, you got to be careful. Is he going to take it out your guy's hands? Is he going to be there for the tip drill? Is he going to hawk you down? Nacua made some pretty big plays in that Chiefs game. Stopped the guy on 3rd and 1.
Yes. He made some good tackles. The pick, taking it 40-plus yards, setting the offense for the field goal. Like, it's just certain things that separates good from great. And Nacua's making plays where you're gonna, if he can stack this, of course, eventually you got to start saying, okay, this is a great player the Eagles have.
So your bold prediction was Adoree Jackson pick 6. Is that what it was?
Adoree Jackson gets a pick, and John, to answer your question, yes, I do see Vic bringing different pressure this week, changing it up. Absolutely.
Yeah. My bold prediction defensively, I am going to roll with. I think the Eagles sack Matthew Stafford. I think Zadarius Smith ends this game with 2 sacks.
Nice. I like that.
I think Zadarius Smith ends this game with 2 sacks.
I like that. Thank you for the super chat, John.
Yeah, thank you, John. That's my bold prediction.
I like that.
That's my bold prediction. Zadarius
Smith dividends and
ends this game with 2 sacks.
Has Zadarius Smith and Drew Nacua become the new combo? The new Blitz combo?
It's interesting, man.
Yeah.
And Zadarius, again, he's fine. He's a big dude. He jumps off the screen. And
don't be surprised if you see Quinyon in there.
He doesn't look slow. He's not slow. He sets the edge very well. Nolan Smith was setting the edge great last week. You know what I mean? For his size.
Yeah,
they were set. The Eagles run defense, they can set the edge. They really can. So yeah, man, I got Zadarius Smith ending this game with 2 sacks. So those are our bold predictions. What's your score prediction for this game?
I ain't even thought about the score, man. This is
to your point. I haven't thought about it either because the Eagles have kind of been screwing me score wise.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm gonna still give one though off the top of the head though.
This is one of these games where the score needs to be too much to not enough. Like I don't care. Like this is because to me this is a statement game. This is a game that says, based on the optics as it exists right now, LA is looking like one of the better teams because they got the 2-0 record and they've been throwing the ball all over the yard and Stafford's doing what he's doing. So optically, they look better than anybody else.
Yeah.
LA and the Chargers.
And I also want to remind you real quick, also want to give you a quick reminder that when they faced up against a competent defense, they only put up 14 points. Houston Texans have a good defense.
Correct.
Their offense is the problem, not defense. Houston Texans held them to 14 points. They only beat them 14-9.
Right.
Then when they've been up against an anemic defense in the Titans, they put up 33 points on them. And based on what everyone keeps telling me, that game, the Rams, they didn't just blow them out the water offensively until that fourth quarter when the levees broke. There was a point in the game where the Rams going into the fourth quarter, they had 20 points and Tennessee had 16. Tennessee was in that game going into the fourth quarter. Then, Rams went on a little flurry, put up a touchdown and 2 field goals, 13. They outscored them 13-3 in the final quarter. So, I know their offense is talented and they can put up the yards, all that kind of stuff. But that 33 points they did it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they did it. But they did it up against a defense that's really not that good. But when they went up against a defense that is good, only put up 14 points. So who are they really? Right? At least like I said with the Eagles, consistently the past 2 weeks, the scores they put up and the scores they've held opponents to has been pretty consistent.
Correct.
The Rams, on the other hand, don't really know who they are yet.
And this is why that point right there is why I use that term optics, because everybody's seeing the narrative that they putting out there on Good Morning Football and all the media heads and all of the shows. The optics they want to throw out there is like Matthew Stafford is lighting it up and Puka Nacua and Davonte Adams, and they put that narrative out there. But when you dig a little deeper, when you do a little homework, when you look at the stats don't lie, but they do deceive. So you really got to get into the nuts and bolts of what's happening in every game and watch the tape. So you're 100% correct. But you would know that from what you hear on television.
Of course.
Matthew Stafford, back's not a problem. He's just lighting it up. Okay. We'll see we'll test that theory today.
Yeah, because they couldn't run the ball against the Texans. They only put up 72 rushing yards. They couldn't run the ball. Yeah,
well, their best running back just got injured. No, their best running back is Austin Eckler, and
No, Austin Eckler's with the Commanders. He got hurt.
I know, I'm being sarcastic on purpose. I'm being sarcastic on purpose. Yeah, Austin Eckler is just out for the season. They should have paid the man, but it is what it is.
I think Kyren Williams is a good back.
He is.
I don't think he's game changing though,
and he's not there yet.
Right, and again, we're going up against a competent defense. Competent.
Yes, we still have one of the best defenses in the league right now.
They couldn't put up over 80 yards rushing. They couldn't generate more than 14 points. You go up against a trash defense in Tennessee. Okay, you were able to put up 33 points. Kyren Williams still didn't have a 100-yard game, only 66 yards. But I think as a team, let me check their rushing numbers here.
Yeah.
As a team, they put up 149 rushing yards. So they were running back by committee. And I think also, let me, and this is where we put layers back. We can't forget Puka had that 45-yard rushing touchdown. Puka on one attempt.
On a reverse?
I think so.
Yeah.
So if you take away
that play,
if you take away that one play, they only generated 104 yards of rushing offense in their bell cow back, and Kyren Williams averaged less than 4 yards a carry on 17 carries, 66 yards.
Yeah, but they're not. You got to look at it. They're trying to keep the defense honest, so they're going to give him his 15 to 17 carries to run their play action. R.I.P. Charlie just made the point for me. Play action might win us the game today. Same thing. They're trying to run that play action to keep the defense honest, so they can open up some lanes. So they're just doing what they're trying to.
No, I totally get it. I totally get it.
So,
but my point is, Kyren Williams back-to-back games, only 66 rushing yards, like exactly on the nose.
Right.
That they had Kyren Williams hasn't been. I think he's the key to their running game.
I appreciate that, Vicky.
So no, Vicky, appreciate you. I think I really think like this Rams team, I think they're talented, but they can be had.
Correct.
I agree. That's my honest, humble assessment of this.
I agree.
All right. Let's see, where are we? Let's transition to making our picks for the week, and then we can begin to close this show out, my man. So, we didn't give our scores. You got a score prediction?
Yeah, what I say? Too much to not enough. I'm gonna say you know what? I'm gonna go 24-17 Eagles.
24-17. So you got a touchdown win.
Yeah.
I got the Eagles winning 27-20. So you and I are pretty much in the same boat. We got them winning by a touchdown.
Ray Rose passed away?
Really?
What? Hold on, dog.
I'm tired of y'all just dropping. Oh, shoot, he did pass away.
Did he? Wow.
Ugh. Rest in peace to Ray Rhodes. Wow. No, wait, time's out. Hold on.
Hold on, man.
Y'all keep killing. Listen, y'all like old Twitter. Y'all keep killing people. Let me see. I'm not saying anywhere he passed away.
I'm looking.
I googled his name straight up.
Nah, I don't see it either.
Nah, come on, man. I gotta stop doing this. Man. Y'all keep killing people in this live chat. I gotta stop doing this, man. Y'all like classic Twitter. Just keep killing people.
Hold on. I see something on
Facebook,
but
yeah, I saw that. And somebody in the comments said, "Yo, Google's free. He's live." I Google Ray Rhodes Eagles. I'm not seeing no reputable article reporting his passing.
Yeah, fake news. Yeah, that's foul, man.
Anyway, so yeah, you got 24-17 Eagles. I got 27-20 Eagles. So I'm rolling with that. And yeah, let's transition to making our picks for the week, and then we'll begin to close the show out. Again, we appreciate y'all for locking in on the content. You guys are locked in on the Bald Eagles podcast featuring Markus Thomas, aka Coach Marcus from Pro Fan Talk. And I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button on both channels. We're live on both channels. We're live on Pro Fan Talk and we're live on Chalk It Up Sports. Make sure you guys continue to smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, man. That like button is currency, man. The channel, things don't move. New people can't find us without you guys hitting that like button. So let's keep this thing rolling, you guys. All right. Let's get into our picks of the week. Now, on the season, I am currently 18-14.
Right.
What are you? I think you're like, what, 20-12?
Something like that. I had it written down. Now I can't find it.
You all good? All right, yeah. Let's make your picks bigger like we did before. Let's shift this a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get me a hot button to change these screens.
All right, let's see. Because I'm pretty excited about this. This is a good week of football. Benjamin Moore says, Tone, Eagles win 34-17. Let's see who else. What else scores we got here? I'm seeing AJ Harris with 28-17. Carlos Rosado has 27-17.
Carlos.
What else? What else? I like these scores from y'all, by the way. Greg Miller says 34-24 Eagles. I don't think the Eagles beat them 34-24.
Stranger things have happened, but I'll allow it.
Yeah, 30-21 is a good score.
Yeah.
Gatekeeper Coley 24-20. That's kind of been par for the course, so I ain't even mad at that one. But I got 27-20. I think 27-20 is reasonable. I say 27-20 because I think the Eagles offense takes a little bit of a step forward this week. And I think the Eagles do what they've been doing to the Rams, holding them to the low 20s.
We'll see.
All right. You and I both had that Thursday night game called down, Pag. I think we all did. Bills beat the Dolphins.
You knew what it was.
Two has been getting killed for that game-stealing interception. I've seen Kurt Warner and Emmanuel Acho going back and forth on the internet trying to debate whether or not Tua made the right decision, whether was it really his fault or not, and all this kind of stuff. And the bottom line is he threw the pick, and he lost that game. Simple as that. Now obviously there's context, but I ain't got time for the context. Bills won, we got that one. All right. Now let's get into our respective positions here. Raiders at Commanders. Raiders at Commanders. Remind you, Jaden Daniels is not playing today.
I know, and I wanted to switch this pick. But I'm gonna stick with it.
You gonna stick with it?
I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah. I'm going with the Raiders today. I think the Raiders get a much needed win on the road. I think Geno Smith has a bounce back game from his performance last week. I think Ashton Genty has his best game of his career thus far. I think Ashton Genty goes for well over 100 yards. I don't think the Commanders have done enough to prove they can stop the run. They can stop anybody really offensively. They've been pretty inconsistent. I know they did what they did to the Giants in week 1. Yes. But it's the Giants. No offense. Now, when it went against the Packers, they couldn't stop the pass, couldn't stop the run. They looked very beatable. Nonetheless, though, no Jaden Daniels, no Austin Eckler, no Dietrich Wise Jr., which means that element that Jaden Daniels provides you in the run game goes away. You got Mariota. Mariota has won some games for them before. I think he's won a game for them before. But we'll see, man. Mariota's another year older. He's another guy who has questioned if he even cares about football still.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Raiders in this game.
Wait a minute. Did Mariota finish the game last week? I thought it was somebody else that played.
Nah. Jaden Daniels finished the game. But he hurt his knee. He gets the his knee.
Yeah. Yeah, let me go ahead and officially change that.
And the thing is, you know that knee is bad because they played on Thursday.
Let me officially change that pick to the Raiders.
Okay. All right. So you got the Raiders.
I didn't for some reason I did not realize it was Marcus Mariota that was starting the game.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I'm of the belief that the Cliff Kingsbury offense is like the common cold. It annoys you at first, but eventually you figure it out.
Yeah. So I'll change that one. I'll change my pick to the Raiders on that one.
Okay. So we both got the Raiders. So that's on record. You and I both have the Raiders. Got it.
Falcons are going to beat the Panthers.
Packers beating the Panthers. They're going to dog walk them.
Packers are going to dog walk the Browns.
Oh, wait. I'm tripping. Falcons are going to beat the Panthers. Yes, Falcons are going to beat the Panthers easily. I take that. I think the Panthers are going to make it interesting, but the Falcons ultimately win that game. Packers beating the Browns. I got that. I'm with you on that as well.
Who starts today for the Browns? Is it still Joe Flacco? Or is Dylan Gabriel going to finally get some clock?
I think Flacco still starts.
Yeah, he should.
But I got the Packers in that game nonetheless. Steelers at Patriots. I got the Steelers in that game.
Yeah, I got Steelers too.
Let's see what else we got here. Rams at Eagles. We already called that game. I got the Eagles winning 27-20. You got them winning 24-17. Colts at Titans. I got the Colts winning that game as well.
Yep.
Jets at Buccaneers. I got the Bucks winning that game.
Bucks. Baker Mayfield has been on a heater. He's getting it done.
He's getting it done. I personally won't say heater, but he's getting it done. He's getting it done. Bengals at Vikings. I got the Bengals winning this game. I just think the Bengals have too much firepower, even though they don't have Joe Burrow for the next few months.
Yeah, and I kind of hemmed and hawed with this. I went with the hometown, but Carson Wentz starting for the Vikings.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I knew McCarthy was hurt, but I forgot they got
yeah.
That's interesting.
And they're in Minnesota.
And that was his favorite team growing up as a kid.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with my hometown though. Get it done.
I think Bengals win this game though still. All right, Jags at Texans. I think the Jags get them. I think the Texans start the season 0-3.
Oof.
I got the Jags winning this game, man. And they're home. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that offense, bro.
I don't know. CJ Stroud missing a lot of open receivers.
Yeah, man. Like he's starting to look like he got the yips or something. Let's see here. Saints at Seahawks. I'm not overthinking this ever again with the Saints. I'm going Seahawks. I'm going Seahawks in that game. I got the Seahawks.
I'm not a fan of Spencer Rattler, dude.
Yeah, that part. Rattler. I've seen him 2 weeks in a row. Nope. Yeah. Not fooling me again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm rolling with the Saints over the Seahawks in that game.
Chargers and Broncos. Justin Herbert.
I got Chargers.
Justin Herbert's playing very well right
now. That's gonna be a good game though. Broncos ain't gonna lay down. I think the Broncos gonna give them a run for their money, but I think Chargers edge them out.
Yeah.
Cowboys Cardinals at 49ers.
Cardinals at 49ers.
I got, you know what? This was a tough pick for me because, you know, Shanahan said it was just a very slim chance. Purdy plays, so I don't think he's playing. So I think you're going to see Mac Jones again.
Yep.
But he did what he did against that Saints team that's very anemic. I think the Cardinals have improved their pass rush with adding Josh Sweat.
Yep.
I think the Cardinals beat the 49ers on the road. I think the Cardinals beat them. I really do. I just think I think that Mac Jones luster dulls this week. So I'm rocking with Cardinals in this game like you. All right. Cowboys at Bears. I got the Cowboys winning this game reluctantly.
I got the Cowboys winning, man. And if ever Caleb Williams wants to have a turnaround, now's the time to do it.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
Now is the time.
I don't think the Cowboys are that good. They are beatable. The Giants almost took them down. The Giants should have took them down. So this is one of those opportunities, like we were saying, playing for opportunities. But Caleb Williams has got to show up, and he can't be back there double clutching and running for his life. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. But I got Cowboys winning that game nonetheless.
Chiefs and the Giants.
But let it be wrong, though. All right, Chiefs and Giants. We talked about this game earlier this week, and you and I were like, could the Giants pull something off here?
They can.
But I'm like, let me not, because I got to keep reminding myself, they got Russell Wilson at quarterback. The offensive line still is what it is, though.
It is, but
I still got the Chiefs winning.
The Chiefs are real and right. I would love to see the Giants take down the Chiefs. I would love to see
that would actually excite me.
Yeah.
To see the Chiefs start 0-3, that would be interesting to see how they bounce. We've never seen that before in the Mahomes Andy Reid era. We've never seen that.
That's why they play the game.
And again, they always say you want to stack these wins early. You want to stack some of these wins early, man. We'll see. We'll see. But I got the Chiefs winning this game nonetheless. I think the Chiefs look at it from the perspective of we cannot start the season 0-3. We cannot. And they find a way to win. It's probably gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
Because look, that Chiefs defense is better than that Cowboys defense.
Right.
You know? So, and we got the Lions at Ravens. I got the Ravens winning that game.
Yep. The Lions in trouble.
Yeah.
You said it a couple weeks ago. Like when you lose both your coordinators.
I think that catches up with you at some point.
Yeah. And the quality of the coordinators. So yeah, the Lions got some work to do. But the Ravens, they still trying to come back from that loss from Buffalo. They still trying to every week Lamar Jackson is trying to prove something.
Yeah, they took their frustration out on who they played last week, the Browns.
Yep.
They took their frustration out on them.
Yep. So
but again, like this the Super Bowl isn't won in week 2. You know, you can take your frustrations out on improve something everybody else, but when the playoffs come, you got to prove it to yourself at this point. So we'll see how that goes. Nonetheless, though, you guys, that's pretty much the show, man. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We really do appreciate you guys for really leaning into this Bald Eagles culture that we're building here, man. Like I always say, y'all know the vibes, y'all know the energy, y'all know where our baldies be. You feel what I'm saying? Any final words, Marcus, before we get out of here?
No. Let's Vic Fangio, I need you to do it again. Adoree Jackson, I need you to come up with a turnover today. Let's go into week 4 not having to worry about number 8. That's what I want.
Let's go into week 4 not having to worry about this offense.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So
agreed. Did you see AJ's what AJ wore to the stadium? Did you see that?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. What do you wear?
He's wearing a green shirt and it says "Check on your teammates." Because I think that's part of suicide awareness.
Yeah, well, you know, AJ takes it very seriously.
Absolutely.
He's been pretty open about his mental health battle, and you know, a lot of people. I kind of hate when people try to pretend like they have a view into this guy's psyche when he's doing press conferences because he's calm, he's relaxed, he's remaining stoic. Like they like to say he's angry, he's pissed off.
Right.
I mean, sure, you want the offense to be operating a little better at a higher clip, but I think he understands that. Look, we've been down this road before. We've been through it already. We've been to the mountaintop. We've experienced the highs of the highs and the lows of the lows. I think AJ Brown is way more equipped to deal with whatever they're going through now than ever before. And again, AJ Brown is he's a professional. He's a great leader. You don't get to see on your chest for being somebody who's emotionally unstable, right?
Yeah.
You don't get voted that two years in a row as a captain. So, yeah, man, shout out to AJ Brown. Wait, real quick, there was another conversation that you and I wanted to tap into that I mentioned earlier. Something that happened.
While you think about that, I'm watching this post by John Clark, NBC's John Clark. And it's saying Jared Verse once again walks right through the Eagles' defensive line warmups. But he didn't. He was on the sideline. Jalen Carter called him over, and they dapped it up. And he shook hands with Cliff Hurt, and then he walked off. So,
what happened this past week that was exciting that I wanted to talk about? Because I mentioned it, and I was like,
offense and defense.
I can't remember. I cannot remember.
Was it Latu?
No, we addressed that.
Latu, Adoree, Marcus Epps, the guys being elevated. Roster spots.
Damn. Oh well, I guess it wasn't really that important. You guys. Damn, it's grinding my gears. All right. Nonetheless, that's your show, man. We've been here for well over an hour and a half. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all smash the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We appreciate the love and the support. You guys have been tuned in to the Bald Eagles podcast. He's Markus Thomas of Pro Fan Talk. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or we lose, we just got to trust to the game. Marcus, play that song, man.
In the city of Philly, where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights, dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Fly guys in the zone.